We're so happy to have our next guest with us. I interviewed him 2 weeks ago as he was getting ready to possibly head off to prison. Instead, Roger Stone is a free man. Now, Roger, I'm glad this didn't have to be a jailhouse interview. Congratulations from all of us, the American people. You're free. You're commuted.
Yes. Look, first of all, I need to thank God Almighty because I prayed for this. But obviously, I also need to thank the President of the United States, who in his mercy and justice granted me this act of clemency. He understood this was a life and death matter. It wasn't just a political or a legal matter. Despite all precedents in all the courts, despite the policy of the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice, the judge in my case was intent on sending me at 67 years old and with underlying health problems to a prison where we now know there are over 80 confirmed cases of coronavirus. This was, in essence, a death sentence. My appeal would never have reached the courts because it would have died with me. So I am extremely thankful to the president. I also resent now all those coming forward and saying, oh, Stone had knowledge of misconduct or inappropriate activity by the president, and he concealed it in return for an act of clemency, which was a commentation. That is a lie. And Robert Mueller and his dirty cops had 3 years to try to prove that. They had every ounce of evidence surrounding me. They had all of my electronic devices, all my emails, all my text messages, all my phone calls. And therefore, when the Washington Post says it, and they attribute it to Howard Fineman, because it's a bastardization of what I have said, which is that the Mueller clan leaned on me heavily to provide false testimony against the president, and I refused. I really resent this. I resent being called a Russian agent by Adam Schiff. You had 3 years to prove that I was working for the Russians. I am a loyal American. I have no Russian connections. They take innocent communications that were reported to them earlier that they were well aware of, and they completely misrepresent them as some kind of seditious, treasonous activity with the Russians. Eric, it is outrageous. Mueller, Rosenstein, Weissman, the whole crowd, they're right back to the very beginning. All the stuff they couldn't prove about me or the president during their witch hunt.
Yeah.
It's really.
So Roger, I want to. There's so many things to unpack there. Let's start with the accusation kind of levied towards Mueller and the investigators. Well, how did they want you to lie for them? What did they specifically? What were they looking for? What were they pushing you to do?
Jeannie Rhee, who was one of the prosecutors, who interestingly enough worked for Mueller's law firm, and who actually represented Hillary in the missing email and illegal email server case, being an egregious conflict because the judge said at my sentencing that that's what my case was actually about. At the end of one of the hearings back in March of last year, said to one of my attorneys they'd like to meet privately, and they did. And she proposed in very cautious language that if your client, Roger Stone, would come clean, if he would confess, if he would remember the content of multiple phone calls between myself and candidate Trump in 2016, well, they laid out some vague promise of leniency. My lawyers can't make a decision for me, obviously. We had a conference call of all my attorneys, and I said, absolutely, positively not. I will not bear false witness against the president.
That's what they do. That's what they do. I mean, they're doing that with Ghislaine Maxwell right now. They offer some sort of immunity or a lesser sentence if you spill the beans, you didn't, or you didn't have anything, whatever the case may be. I want to talk a little bit about this. Some people are saying Roger Stone knew he was going to be commuted. His sentence was going to be commuted prior. Did the president or anyone give you a heads up on that?
Absolutely not. There were never any conversations formally or informally between my lawyers and the lawyers at the White House, between my lawyers or myself or any representative of mine with the people at the White House. There's no question that friends of mine were advocating to the president that it was the right thing to do. And when they realized I was being sent to a prison that was life-threatening, I'm sure that they stepped up their activities. But there's nothing improper about that. I did know this was coming, but not for the reasons people think. I knew it was coming because I prayed over it, because I took the advice of Reverend Franklin Graham back in January, and I was reborn. I reaffirmed my belief in Jesus Christ. I saw Howard Feynman mocking me for that yesterday on MSNBC. I find that outrageous. Now, people are allowed to believe whatever they want. And I can understand cynics saying, well, that's a ploy on Stone's part. That's a head fake. That's an appeal for sympathy. Say whatever you want. I don't care, because he knows. He knows what's in my heart.
Roger.
But I don't question whether Howard Feynman is a devout Jew. Why is he questioning whether I am a devout Christian? So my certitude was based only in my faith in the Lord, not because I had the high sign from somebody at the White House, not because I had a promise from the president. I had no communication with the president, who I love, for over 2 years now.
All right, Roger, I want to get this
do.
in because we're going to run out of time. Roger Stone is a very talented man. He's a very smart man. He's a very political person. You want Roger on your side, not against you. Does Roger Stone have a target now that you're a free man, that you want to go after someone for wronging either you or someone else or the president? Who should be watching their back right now?
Actually, that you speak of the old Roger Stone. One of the things that the Bible teaches you is that vengeance belongs to God, and that you can pray that God will do the right thing. But Hebrews 30:31 tells us that vengeance belongs to the Lord, and that it is a fearful thing to be in the eye of a living God. So I know that those who are wrongdoers, who have wronged the president, wronged General Flynn, wronged me, they will pay a price. But not from Roger Stone. They will pay a price from God Almighty.
All right, 15 seconds left. Roger, what's next for Roger Stone? What's on your it's 3 months, 6 month window?
I need to finish a book about this whole ordeal, because I see that Andrew Weissman is writing a book, and people are going to want to go someplace for the truth and not that pack of lies. So I have a book coming. And then I've got to go find a job. I mean, as you know, I've lost everything in this fight financially, my home, my savings, my insurance, and I haven't been able to make a living for almost 2 years. So I have to go out and find a job. I'm going to probably do a syndicated radio show. I will probably do a podcast. I will continue writing, but I will independently do everything I possibly can to get the president reelected. No, I did not trade that for a commutation. That's nonsense. No, I'm not looking for a job in the Trump campaign. I'm not interested in that, but I will do everything I can, writing and speaking on my own, activism on my own, to get the president reelected, because he's the only thing that stands between us and this country going over the cliff to globalism.
Roger Stone, everybody. Thank you for your time, Roger.
Thank you, Eric.